My story? My name is Vernon. I do not know my great-great-grandfather's name, nor my great-grandfather's name, nor my grandfather's name. My father's name is William. He worked at San Francisco General Hospital as a sterilizing equipment technician. I was blessed in the fact that both of my parents stayed together for the duration of their lives. My mother's name is Eileen. She was from Alabama. She also worked at San Francisco General Hospital as a nurse. My father was from Texas. My dad was a cool guy. He would do stuff with me and my friends, take us places, a barbecue in the backyard. My mom was a church-going woman. So when my dad planted marijuana in the backyard, my mom was none the wiser. She actually watered it every day because she thought it was tomatoes. But then she also wondered why this particular tomato plant never produced any tomatoes. See, the plants look similar, and my dad planted the marijuana right next to the tomatoes. How funny! I used to smoke weed downstairs with my friends in my room, and I would always light an incense. And my mom, she would bang on the floor, "Put that stuff out!" But if I didn't light an incense, she never knew. Then she told me she'd rather me smoke it in the house than out on the street. My first contact with the penal system was in the 1980s. I was on my way to a cast party with a theater group that I was working with. Now, I was sitting in the car with two other cast members snorting cocaine off a plate. When we looked up, the police was right there looking at us. We had our heads down for so long, we didn't realize that they had pulled up. We had no idea how long they had been there. So of course we panicked. Now the driver, he had the plate of cocaine on his lap, and we told him to blow it. But instead, he put it under the seat. So they took us all out of the car and lined us up against the wall. There were two officers, one male and one female. So they searched myself and my friend and found nothing. However, the driver was holding out on us, and they found cocaine on him. So the female officer said to the male officer, "We should let the ones go with no possession." The male officer said no. He then looked at all three of us and said, "I wish you would have ran, because we ain't shot no niggas today." Since it was my first offense, I was released on OR, on recognizance. The second time I went to jail, I spent 5 days in there on a trumped up domestic violence charge from my ex-wife. I mean, we were arguing over cat litter and a broom. See, we had a cat, and the cat litter was in the hallway, and I accidentally knocked it over. So we arguing over who's gonna clean it up. Then we start tussling over the broom, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I let go, and she fell and hit her head on the floor. And then she ran into the room and called the police. Told them I tried to kill her. We had just moved into our house in Sacramento from Berkeley. I hadn't even unpacked. By the time I got to the front door, the police was there. So they handcuffed me and put me in the back seat of the car and asked me if I had anything on me. I told them no. But I did have some drugs on me. A small packet of heroin and a small packet of cocaine. So they put me in the back seat, then they go in the house to talk with my wife. Now I'm sitting there wondering, how in the hell am I going to get rid of this shit? I mean, the back seat was made of plastic and there was no place to hide anything. So they thought. I saw that the only place that I could hide something is where the seatbelt came up through the plastic back seat. So I go in my wallet, get the drugs out while handcuffed, and I stash it in there. Now, when we got to the police station, the officer goes to the trunk of the car. I got nervous because I thought he was looking to see if I had stashed anything, but he wasn't looking for nothing. He was just putting his gun in the trunk. I got away with that one because I sure didn't want to have a drug charge against me. That first night in jail, I never went to the bathroom. Because it was in the middle of the floor and everybody could see. So I held it until the next day. That's when they let us out to the community room and I could use one with a door. My first hard drug experience was also in the 1980s. I was selling and using my own supply, primarily cocaine. See, I got into using from being a middleman and then selling. And I was getting drugs from my mother-in-law and her friends, and then she later fronted me the money to start my own business. I had this saying I used to say to the women, I got this good cocaine, so good it'll make your poontang sing. See, back then they called me Sweet Black. I got that name from my best friend. We call him Panky. He's gone now. That old saying is oh so true. Don't get high on your own supply. I did. And then it became a problem. So much of a problem that I lost my job at B of A, Bank of America. And I kept using and using and using and using and using and using and using until life turned bad for me. After that, I went to live with my sister and grandmother in the Geneva Towers. The Geneva Towers. 20 floors of terror. I mean, the place was so bad, even the police wouldn't go in there. I mean, they would disable the elevators, and if you lived on the 20th floor, you had to walk up all them stairs. God bless your soul. My sister had to tell everybody who I was so I wouldn't get jumped or robbed. The Geneva Towers. Ironically, my recovery started in the Geneva Towers. I was getting high, and I was watching Channel 9, and I saw Gregory Hines doing an interview talking about the benefits of his life through acting and how good it made him feel. And that made me remember my very first play. I was in elementary school, the first grade, and we were doing a play about soap. I still remember my line. My one line, I remember. Soap. We use it every day. I said it just like that too. We use it every day. See, I had been out of theater for some years now because I was caught up in my addiction. But after I saw that program on TV, I walked into the bathroom and flushed all my drugs down the toilet. Then I went to a friend's house and I slept on this floor and I asked God to help me. I cried all night, God, help me. Help me, God, help me, please, help me. The next day, I woke up and I went and got a newspaper. And I looked in it for an audition. I found one. I called, I auditioned, and I got a part. Back home, baby. And then I did the Toyota kick. Wow. The very first play that I ever got paid for was called Voodoo Queen. And it was at the Bayview Opera House in the late 1970s. I liked it because it involved singing and acting. In old New Orleans, there lived a voodoo queen. Magic powers, she was supreme. Black man, white man, they all feared her. Enemy nor friend could get near her. She was a queen of voodoo. Woo, woo. Man, I liked it. I still don't remember the role that I was playing, just that it was set in New Orleans and I got good reviews. The Geneva Towers resurrected my desire for acting. I performed with various theater companies, the Lorraine Hansberry Theatre, multi-ethnic theater company, the African American Shakespeare Company, and the San Francisco Recovery Theatre. I'm glad to be drug-free, not dead or in jail. That's my story. My name is Vernon.